Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Surviving the Badge. We are on Season 2, Episode 1. Yes, first one of the new season.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Salute.
Right.
Hope everyone had a very nice New Year.
I know I did.
I did too, very much so. So, as we go through Season 2 here, we're going to do a little bit different of a format. We're still going to be talking about Surviving the Badge, as we always have. But we're also going to kind of delve into the true crime market, or whatever you want to call it. World,
aspect.
Yeah. We're going to kind of start talking about some of these crimes that are either recently in the news and, big hot topics, or if I'm hoping we don't have too many murders to even talk about, but if we kind of run low on some hot local stuff, here in the state of Florida, then we will dive into some of the cold cases and stuff from years ago, some of the famous serial killers, so on and so forth. So
It totally makes sense. We have 75 years of investigative experience sitting at this table.
We do.
Investigative supervisory police. I mean, we could talk about things that, they skim over or they don't talk about in the TV shows, the news. We can really get into explaining some things and how a detective would actually investigate into different steps. And I think it just makes sense.
And the real truth, not this crap you see on TV where, they can take a paint chip on a hit and run crash and tell you exactly who owns the car.
Yeah.
We're gonna discuss it. So just to introduce myself, since we're a new season here, a brand new Season 2. My name is Ronnie, and I was a police officer. I'm retired now, and I did 35 years in police work. I was a patrol supervisor, traffic supervisor, canine supervisor. I was a motor officer, meaning motorcycle. I was in investigations for a short period of time, doing drug investigations. So my background is pretty broad. The only thing I did never do is just property crimes and like person crimes, but I did every other type of investigation, traffic, homicide, you name it. Go ahead, Camille.
My name is Camille, and I was a police officer for 20 plus years, retired also. 15 of those as a criminal investigator. Everything from murder to fraud to economic crimes to rapes and the whole 9 yards. Property crime, the works.
He just about did everything you could imagine when it comes to investigations.
Crime scene investigator also.
So John, unfortunately, could not make it for our opening season show tonight. His poor wife, Ruth, is sick, and he is home being an awesome husband and taking care of her. And we pray that Ruth is going to feel better soon and that everything works out real good. But just to talk a little bit about John. John worked at the same agency that I did for over 20 years. I think he had almost 22 years in. And John did investigations, property crimes, persons crimes. He did traffic homicide. He was a traffic officer in a car, patrol officer, patrol supervisor. So, I mean, between us, there is a load of experience here in the various realms of police work. So let's dive right into it, buddy. What do we got? We got our...
You decided, I don't know if you hate John or you know that John doesn't drink brown liquor.
He does not. John does not drink whiskey ever.
You decided that we're going to do a whiskey ranking today, and I love it. I mean... Hell,
we are.
Sign me up for that anytime.
It's right here. This is Wild Turkey Long Branch. It's an 8-year, I guess, aged wild turkey. My son got it for me for Christmas. And I'll tell you what, man, it's really good.
Oh, that's smooth.
Oh, man.
That's really nice.
We put a little ice in it, one big round ice cube, just kind of cool it off a little bit. But I'll tell you what, this ranks right up here with some of the better ones that I've had. Now, obviously, I don't buy the $500 bottles or the $300 bottles, but for a $50-ish bottle of whiskey, bourbon, holy cow, that's really good.
That's real good. Is it a bad sign? Because I also got whiskey and bourbon for Christmas. Is that a bad sign that we got whiskey and bourbon for Christmas, or do they just know us?
I think they just know us very well, because we are the last of the big major drinkers. This is the only time I really indulge. I would say heavily is why we're doing the show. So we also have, due to our sponsors, one of our sponsors being Kenny's Grocery in Orange City, we have our beer moment. And since John's not here, I'm going to talk about the beer moment. I went and got it. This is made by Sierra Nevada, and it is a pale ale is what it's telling me. It is a pale ale.
So when I just took a sip of it, and I don't know if you're going to get this note, but I got almost like an oatmeal note flavor. It's good. I'm enjoying it. I would give this probably about a 7.
Yeah, that's not bad. And it's not super cold because I blew it and didn't put it in the refrigerator until about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock.
They wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, they would have. They didn't. No sweat on the bottle.
And so we would like to thank our sponsor, Kenny's, located in Orange City at 1792 and French Avenue. So if you get a chance, you want some unique beers, go down to Kenny's Grocery, Orange City, French Avenue, and 1792. We also have a second sponsor that Ronnie's going to talk about.
We do, and that second sponsor is C&R Constructors. They're on your screen now, and they are a general contractor here in Central Florida, serving even larger than the Central Florida area, and they specialize in commercial build-outs and home remodels. So if you need it done all the way up to the roof itself, they can do it. I don't care how small or how big it is. These guys are professional. Please visit their website, www.crconstructors.net, and you can see some of their work.
All right. So last year, we're going to talk about fallen officers. Last year, we had 491 line of duty deaths in the United States. It was up about approximately 20-something% from the year before. 150 of our officers last year committed suicide. Very sad. The good note of that, the good silver lining of that is the year before that it was 177, and 2 years before that it was over 239 suicides. So
maybe some of the awareness is actually,
I hope so,
helping out. I know a good friend of ours of the show, and I worked with him for years. Mark DeBona is basically pledged his entire retired life going around and speaking to officers and departments and giving seminars about suicide and officer suicide. So thank him for that. That's awesome, Mark. Great job.
We're going to have him on probably this season to talk about that.
Absolutely. All right, let's dig into it.
Our case, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine, I don't know, Maxwell, a couple of scumbags who should have been put under the jail. Jeffrey Epstein, back in 2005-ish, there was an investigation. He was arrested for sexual battery of some children and trafficking. There was about 40 victims, and this happened down in South Florida.
That's on your screen right now. Both of them are Epstein and Maxwell are both on your screen. Interesting thing about this while I was reading it is that one of the victims stated that she was at the Altamont Mall, which is like 15 miles from where I live, the Altamont Mall, trolling for victims.
Yeah, that's what she would do, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But that's exactly what her job was. So Epstein took a sweetheart deal. I don't know how, rich and powerful, and connections. And but in 05 he took a sweetheart deal, and he got I think it was 13 months in custody, but only on weekends.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Holy cow, man.
For sexual battery of children.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And as part of the deal, the people the other possible defendants, like Maxwell and other people, they had immunity in Florida. So any crimes that they did in Florida, immunity. Yeah.
It just absolutely makes me sick, some of this garbage that goes on with our justice system. It's absolutely ridiculous. It really is.
You wonder why people are so pissed off about that kind of stuff.
It's just insane.
So later, recently, in 2019, he was charged again for sexual trafficking of minors in New York. He was arrested. He was taken to, what's the jail in New York? Rikers? No.
Sing Sing?
No. Rikers Island.
Rikers.
I think it was Rikers.
Yeah.
And then he killed himself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Killed himself.
Yeah.
I'm sure
paid to hide.
Yeah, I'm sure we all believe that he killed himself. Yeah. If let's say he killed himself, and
He killed himself.
I could see him killing himself. He knows he's done for.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Right, and he's going to be a child molester, a sexual predator inside a prison, which we all know they get whacked.
Oh yeah,
you know, and they get abused or whatever. But unfortunately, him dying took away the justice to all of his victims.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. And I've worked suicides in jails that were actually suicides as part of my last job. We if a suicide happened at a jail, or if there was a death at a jail, we would go in and investigate. And
don't they actually? Isn't the most common way to do that is hanging?
Yes.
By a bed sheet or whatever.
The ones I worked, that's what happened.
Right.
And it doesn't take long.
No.
The most recent, the last one I worked, he was standing at the door talking to the counselor who was outside the door, and he says, "I'm going to do it." He wraps it, and he just slinks down and puts all of his weight on the counselor's trying to call the correctional officers to open the door, but their policy was they can't open the door unless there's two officers there. And by the time the counselor's not an officer, and by the time they open the door, it doesn't take long. He was dead.
Yeah, it takes over 6 minutes or so for the brain to die from lack of oxygen, but it don't take that long for them to pass out.
Right.
And just be, and snap their neck or whatever it may happen. But yeah.
So they brought us in to see if the officers could have been charged. They ultimately were not. But one of the bad things about this, I thought, and I'm pretty sure, Epstein was on a suicide watch. Which means you're supposed to actually watch them. And I know
they don't give them bed sheets and all that stuff.
No, they give them like a paper. I know in Florida they give them a paper gown, or a turtle outfit, which is nothing, just a little bit of privacy and nothing else. So I don't know, if you guys know any more about it, if it was a suicide watch or not.
Please comment down below. We appreciate it.
And while you're at it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell. And
yeah, please do, because it really helps us out. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
So what we do know about the Epstein case is he was a millionaire, and he would fly rich and powerful people to his private island in the Caribbean. And there he would have already picked up, or on the way picked up, underage girls.
Right.
And these rich and powerful men would have sex with these underage girls.
Right.
Well, Ghislaine Maxwell, who was just found guilty, she was his number one procurer, is that right?
I think that's right, yeah.
Okay, of these underage girls.
I have her picture up on your screen now so you can see what she looks like.
Yeah, so she would go to, like you said, the Altima Mall.
Yeah.
And she would pose as a talent scout.
Yes.
For modeling and stuff.
And the one girl that I read about, I hope you're not going to cover her. But
I didn't put any names in there.
Well, the one girl I read about, she was working in a retail or whatever, and I guess that Maxwell had came in and talked to her and said, how old are you? And she told her, she was 17 or 15, 16, whatever. And she said, oh my God, I didn't realize, you look much older than that. Starting to blow her up. Oh, you're beautiful, this and that and the other. She said, we're going to get you on, XYZ, whatever. Well, the young lady had a problem with her hips. since she was very young, and she could not walk the catwalk. I mean, this girl is drop dead gorgeous. She could not walk the catwalk, so therefore she couldn't do the runway model, deal or whatever. And when she found out about that, she said, "Oh, that's okay," blah blah blah, and she still took her.
Yeah,
of course. And she's just looking for another victim.
Yep.
For these rich psycho nut jobs.
And it is. What is in somebody's head? This Maxwell piece of shit.
Oh yeah, she's a piece of shit.
What is in her head? I know I'm going to procure this young woman to have sex with men.
Yeah.
How do you jump to, yeah, that's what I do for a living.
Yeah. And I like it, and I think it's a good thing. I mean, what the hell is going on with these
That's
people?
a broken brain. It
is.
I don't get
That's
it.
a sick, no good, rotten individual who should burn in hell for the rest of their lives.
So she was arrested. She was just going around the United States after he died. She's like la 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 la.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I can see her doing that.
Oh,
La,
yeah.
la, la, la.
She's a socialite, so
Right.
she's probably holding her purse like this, whatever they do.
Right.
Drinking her tea, whatever.
And you know what else drives me? I'm backtracking just a little bit. The FBI knows all the people who've been there. They've executed search warrants. Yeah. They know, and why are they holding it so tight?
Because there are some big players.
So what?
Big players.
Do it.
And somebody's pulling their strings.
Unfortunately, the FBI, for the last 10, 15, maybe even 20 years, has become a political arm of the government.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Do your freaking job as a law enforcement professional. And if you look at Lady Justice, guess what?
She's got a blindfold on.
Right.
Yeah.
Justice is supposed to be blind. FBI, if you're watching, and I know you are, do your freaking job. Arrest some people.
And that's not all you guys. It's just the guys that are investigating this. Come on, seriously.
Or the supervisors who say, "Well, we can't, we can't." Yeah.
And hey, listen, I am a big time Trump supporter. Just throw it out there. I am, but I would say 1 out of every 20 pictures that I pulled up of these two, Epstein and Maxwell, it had Trump and Melania right there with Epstein and hugging on him and yeah. I'm not saying they had anything to do with this sex with kids or anything like that, but it looks bad, man, when the prez is out here, and this was prior to him becoming president and all that, but
well, you also have Bill Clinton, who was on the airplane several times.
Yes.
But I don't care. I'm a conservative. I'll vote conservative. But if you're a piece of shit, you should be put in jail.
Absolutely.
I don't care who it is.
Who was it? The bigwig moguls for social media and all. There was a couple of them that were with him on the island.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care who name names because I can't remember right now. Yeah. But if you know,
we don't want to get demonetized.
If you know, put it in the comments.
So yeah. So she got arrested gallivanting around the U.S. and they put her on trial for procuring, and setting up and sexual trafficking of these women. And so what happened is, last week she was found guilty. Week before?
Yeah.
Within the last couple of weeks, she was found guilty on 5 of the 6 charges.
Yes.
There's also another trial about I think there's going to be it's something on, I mean, it's not minor, but it's I think it's lying to the FBI or something. There's another trial pending. But now it's her sentencing phase. Now here is where she has an opportunity to help herself.
To dime everybody out.
Yeah.
And I saw your poll.
Right.
That you put out.
Yeah, I was.
What did you put out on?
I put it on Instagram. I put a poll out there that says, "Is she going to rat everybody out?"
I voted no.
I voted no also.
And I think the no's, when I voted, I think the no's were 63%, and I think the yays were 36% or something like that when I voted.
Right.
I think.
Okay.
But I don't think she will.
I want her to.
Oh, I do too.
But I think that probably somebody's going to put the screws. She's got family.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Somebody's going to put the heat miser on her family or on her and say, do you want your family to live?
Right.
I mean, come on.
Rich and powerful people can make that stuff happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I did watch a documentary while I was researching this, and they were talking about that she is a sociopath and doesn't care about anybody else but herself. So that might, if she's a true sociopath and all she cares about herself, she might be trying to spare her neck from a lifetime in prison.
But doesn't that fit, though? Sociopath, all she cares about is herself. Doesn't that fit with her narrative?
Absolutely.
Where she doesn't care about these little girls and what they're going to endure the rest of their entire lives.
Yes.
You know, guys, this isn't something, if you don't know anybody that's ever been sexually abused as a child, this isn't something that goes away in a week, a day, 2 years, 4 years, 5 years. People that have been sexually abused by an adult when they were children, they deal with this for the rest of their lives. It scars them so deep. I mean, I pray for them all the time. And I know a very good friend of ours whose kids went through this, and it was abuse from the father. And I got to tell you that those kids are still 10, 15 years later still struggling with this. So, she don't care about nobody but herself.
No. And I could never, I'm glad I was never at an agency where we actually had a sex crimes unit. I worked, unfortunately, plenty of sex crimes units, sex crimes. I worked child pornography, horrible,
Right.
can never forget it. Sean, friend of the show, he worked sex crimes.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it.
He
told me, he after about a year, he had to get out. I don't
blame him.
It was the worst.
Because he had kids.
Right.
I know a friend of mine, his name's Steve, and he just retired here recently, and he worked for a task force assigned to the FBI. He was with the sheriff's office.
Innocent Images Task Force?
I don't know what it was called. I can't remember. Steve, if you're watching this, put a little comment down there what the name of that unit was. But anyway, he told me some stories, man, that would absolutely curl your freaking hair and just make you sick to your stomach.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before. Dealing with this kind of stuff, you don't go home and say, hey, guess what I dealt with today? Because your family is not wired for that kind of stuff. No. You can't say, well, I saw this 2-year-old or this baby, and it's like, wow, so that's the kind of stuff that you hold on to and you put in for me, everybody's different, but I put it in a little box and I know it's there.
Yeah.
But, I don't open it and I just say, okay, I'm just going to.
Yeah, that's in my past. Leave it there.
Yeah.
I really don't want to talk about it. I mean, I will talk a little bit about it, but I don't want to go into graphic detail because then it rehashes all those memories and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
And yeah, man, it's just another reason why law enforcement officers across the nation, and I mean across the nation, of every agency, police department, sheriff's offices, state highway patrols, state police, federal, it's a burden that they carry, and they carry it for the rest of their lives also, the stuff that they have seen. And people don't realize that. They say, oh, it's just that asshole that was on the corner giving me a freaking ticket for going 10 over. No, that's only one little tiny little facet of this job that officers deal with. And usually that is a guy that, just been hired on a few years, whatever, but it's something that eats them and it goes with them for the rest of their life. Yep. I still, to this day, wake up once in a blue moon and I still, one or two of the cases that I was involved in haunts me and it wakes me up. And I wake up and I go, wow, why am I awake? And then I think and I go, oh man, that it scares you.
It doesn't go away. You're right.
No,
it
doesn't.
It's an imprint. I have my students, and I know what they want me to say. They say, oh, hey, Mr. Long, what's the worst thing you ever worked? And they think it's a murder. They think it's this.
Oh no.
And it's not. It is not. It's what's done to
murders are gross and they're horrendous and they can be, just the most terrible thing you've ever seen in your life. but to watch a 4 or 5 or a 2-year-old being sexually abused by some monster, that never goes away.
No, never does.
Never goes away. I'm glad I only sat on a couple of those.
Yeah.
And I wanted nothing to do with it.
Yep.
I said, no way. Give me the dead bodies all day long out on the highway, splattered in 1,000 pieces. I'll take that over that all day long.
Right.
I knew my limitations. I have babies. I have 4 of them.
Yeah.
Well, they're all grown now, but
yeah.
they're still my babies.
Yeah, and it's important to know your limitations. I knew I could never work narcotics. I would be the undercover who would, excuse me, sir, can I buy some cannabis from you?
Right, exactly.
Would not go good. It would be bad.
But we all know our limitations.
Right.
So, I mean, could you imagine John working undercover narcotics? I mean, really?
I could do weed with the munchies.
Maybe. But the way the way his speech is always almost perfect, right? And everything else. Could you imagine? I mean, he would say they would say something wrong, and he'd go, actually, the proper vernacular for that is, and they'd say, "Get out of here, cop!"
Right?
You know,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
God love him. He's way too educated to be a dope vice cop. Yeah.
So back on the case. Sentencing usually takes 30 days to 60 days because what they have to do is they have to do a pre-sentence investigation. They have to find out about criminal history, all the things, and victims have an impact statement that they can fill out, things like that. So it's not going to be right away.
Not to mention the sentencing hearing,
right?
That they have. Like the one in Orlando. I mean, my God, that took what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I mean, yeah.
So don't expect a sentence anytime soon, especially if she starts ratting people out.
Oh, they'll delay the hell out of that. Absolutely.
So we always called it a proffer, right?
Yeah,
a proffer. Yeah. So when we would bring somebody in and their goose is cooked, we would sit them down and we say, "Listen, spill the beans."
But usually, I don't know about with the state level, but usually the district attorney, state attorney needed to be present.
Absolutely, yes.
For that, so that because they're the ones that's going to recommend a sentence, so they need to be present for that and figure out what information is it relevant, is it going to lead to more arrests, or is it going to clear up a burglary ring, a robbery ring, whatever. So they need to be present during that proffer. Go ahead.
Yeah, and not only that is you see a lot of times where on the movies or TV shows, the cops were like, well, if you tell us this, we can give you this deal. And
that's promising something to coerce a statement. You can't
law
do that.
Enforcement cannot offer any deals.
Nope.
What I always said is, you tell me what you got, and I will tell the state attorney's office that you were cooperative,
Absolutely.
that you were truthful, that you were honest, you had regretted what you did. I can't promise you anything, but I can tell them what you said and what you did.
And I've even told them this: if I have to sit here and interview you and do this, now that we're talking in we haven't really arrested them yet or anything. This is in the preliminary. I have told them that if I have to go through all of this shit and drag all this evidence to the crime lab and everything else and all that, I am not going to tell the state attorney to give you shit.
Because they do ask the officers for an input.
They do. And, if you want to make my job hard and make me work 4 times as hard as I need to, guess what, buddy? Instead of me telling the state attorney or the district attorney or whatever, hey, why don't we see what we can work out? They didn't hurt anybody, whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, screw that. If I had to work my ass off for this case and they sat there the whole time doing this,
right?
Guess what? Mac Daddy Max on everything.
I had a group of 2 guys who would come up out of Miami, commit burglaries, and they were just being a-holes. And I had them on 7 or 8 burglaries.
Right.
And I'd arrest them on 1. And I told the jail, let me know when they're about to bond out.
And you run to the jail and do what?
And I would arrest them on the second one. and I would rebook them into the jail.
And when they got ready to bond out for the second one, what would you do?
Go down there and arrest them a third time.
See, what most citizens don't realize is if we have 25 charges on you of burglary for 25 different burglaries, we can either put all those counts into one and stack that bond up, to whatever it is, and then you bond out for one. Or if you're an asshole, we can do exactly what freaking Camille just said, which is every time you get ready to bond out, run down there, slap another one on you, slap another one on you. Now you got to go through the whole process again. So, we can be assholes too.
Now, if you're a state attorney, you know that that's not what you like, because the state attorney was so pissed at me.
Yeah,
they were so pissed.
Because now they have to have another folder and another folder, another arraignment date, another folder, another folder instead of one big folder. Yeah. Of course, but you know what? Oh, well, they're getting paid by the hour. Right. You're getting paid by the hour.
They were not happy. They're like, stop, dude, just stop.
Okay, we get it. We get it.
All right. So while we're waiting for the sentencing on Maxwell, who's sweating, even though he says he can't sweat, is Prince Andrew.
Oh, and I have the perfect picture of Prince Andrew. Look at this freaking dork, will you? I'm sorry to call names, but yeah, this guy.
So one of the main victims has already stated.
Look at that picture. He's standing here. Yeah.
So and he's the prince's or the queen's son. One of the queen's son.
Yeah, but he's like third in line or something like that.
Yeah, he's not going to be.
He's the Prince of York or Wales. York. He's York.
So he was on this Lolita Express. Victims have identified him as individuals that have had sex with them who, if they're underage, it's rape, who's raped them underage, and he's sweating. He had, if you should look it up, there's a interview he did. Oh, it's a train wreck. It is a dumpster. It is a train striking a dumpster fire in the wreck. It is the worst. And he comes off, he should never have done the interview. He comes off so freaking guilty. Anyway, so he's denying the whole thing. And so Epstein, while he was alive, they had a what do you call it? A plea deal. Not a plea deal, because it was a civil. They were sued.
Oh, okay.
And Epstein gave $500,000 to this victim. And part of the plea deal said, and this is immunity for any other defendants.
Oh, wow.
But, and my question is, and John's not here, I was going to ask him also, if it's a civil plea deal, does that affect a criminal?
I don't think it does. That's completely different. I don't think it does.
To me, I don't think it's two totally different venues.
It's just like when you do a internal investigation on an officer at the PD, they sign the Garrity form, which says that anything said during that internal cannot be used against them in a criminal prosecution.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's the case here, but it wouldn't seem like that immunity for civil suit would carry over to criminal. I don't think it does.
Because a civil suit doesn't have law enforcement involved.
Right. So any of you attorneys that may be out there that do that, if you're watching this, or if you have a family member or somebody that you know is a good friend that is a civil attorney, ask them that question for us and comment down below. We would love to get the answers to some of these questions. We don't know everything, guys.
And if you do, we'll send you one of our merch stickers.
Absolutely. If you get us the proper answer and we can verify that it's a proper answer, we will send you one of our Surviving the Badge stickers.
Absolutely.
Let's see if we can get it a little bit clear. Well, actually, it's this right here.
Yep. Just in sticker form.
In a sticker form. It's that whole logo right there. And it's very nice. It's all cut out for the edges and all. It looks really super sharp on back of your car or wherever.
Yeah. So subscribe and answer these questions that we are failing on.
But if you answer, you must be a subscriber in order to win that. You can't just answer and not subscribe. Sorry. Hey, little bonus for us too.
All right. So to wrap this case up, do you think you said you don't think she's going to squeal?
I do not. No.
See,
no.
I originally didn't until I saw that about the being just out for herself. I think she's going to squeal, but I don't think the FBI is going to do anything with it.
Ooh. How do they do that?
I don't
How
know.
do they get away with that?
I don't know. With the microscope that the FBI is under right now, but they don't care what we small people,
we the people,
right? We the people think, or they're going to say, well, we can't do anything. But I think Prince Andrew's next. If they make an arrest, he's going to be on that list.
But can they make an arrest on him?
They can, the FBI, if all right.
And here's why I say that, guys. Because he has diplomatic immunity. Can he be arrested in the U.S. for crimes that occurred in the U.S.?
But did he commit a crime in the U.S.?
I don't know.
Yeah. So now, if he committed a crime on an island in the Caribbean that happened to be like the U.S. Virgin Islands, if it was part of the U.S. Virgin Islands, then the FBI would have jurisdiction. But
Yeah, but if he goes to the backside of Saint Martin,
right,
that's French rule.
yeah. So I don't know.
We don't have. They don't have diplomatic immunity.
They would
I'm
have
sure.
to. They would have to find out. But
Where
they,
the actual-
but they could also get with the country, France,
Yeah,
and say these crimes happened.
right
Charge him.
on your soil.
Right.
Are you willing to charge him?
Yeah. Or are you willing to take the heat for not charging him?
I bet you they don't.
Yeah.
I bet you the other countries, because you know they're getting aid and they're getting freaking money and they're getting from the freaking English.
Yeah.
You know they are.
Oh, absolutely.
They're all getting it from us and them.
Yeah. But he has been to the United States, so it'll be interesting to find if they can find U.S. jurisdiction in any of these crimes.
But if they do,
Does he get arrested for diplomatic? You know what? When I was preparing, I didn't even think about diplomatic immunity.
diplomatic immunity, we can't hold him and charge him. He would have to be sent back to his country.
Now, he gave
And possibly face charges there.
He's still a prince, but he gave up his royal duties.
He's still a prince, so I guarantee you,
If you know about diplomatic law, let us know.
I'm telling you that he will get with his consulate. If they get ready to charge him, he will probably have him on speed dial and say, they're charging me with XYZ. They will turn him over to the consulate and he'll be done. He'll be gone.
But does the queen want to take that heat? Or does
She doesn't have to. She can't say, no, I'm not doing it. It's whatever the country's policy says.
But can
they have
can
with
the
the
Prime
US?
Minister of England extradite him?
Well, she can take him back to England and hold him on trial there.
So it'd be interesting to find out what happens in the next 6 months or so.
I think.
Yeah, we're the experts, by the way. Don't doubt us.
I dealt with diplomatic immunity one time, and it was somebody from Ghana or Ghana.
Yeah,
Ghana.
There's Ghana and there's Uganda.
It was not Uganda. It was Ghana.
Okay.
And we had to get all of their consulate and everything. The rules have changed on that. They're very, very, very strict. There's a little book that they give you.
Right. I remember
As
that. I had a book,
supervisors.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's updated now.
I
and
bet.
There's only certain countries.
Well, yours is probably in leather and written with a feather
Here
pen.
we go. Here we go.
Leather
Yeah.
bound.
And I had to dip it in the ink and write on it. You're an asshole. Yeah. All right, guys. Please comment below. Tell us what you think. We do read the comments. We do get back with each and every person that comments, on topics on the show. We very much appreciate each and every one of you being out here, watching the show, commenting, liking, subscribing. We really appreciate it very much.
So we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts, we're on just about anything. There's Audacity, everything. Also, if you don't want your comments to be known by everybody else and you don't comment on YouTube, the comments, you can send us an email at retiredcopsrule@gmail.com. If you want to just send us a regular email saying, hey guys, you're an idiot when it comes to diplomatic law, this is actually the truth, retiredcopsrule@gmail.com.
It'll be down there in the comments. All of that'll be in the comments. If I can remember, because I'm old and I forget shit, I will try to put the name of the beer that we are imbibing.
Yes.
Imbibing in. And the name of the whiskey, I'll have to write it on this paper because I do the editing on this a couple of days down the road. So anyway, I will try to write it in there. So, John, we missed you, brother. I'll keep looking over here because that's his chair. We hope to see you on the next show. We'll see how that goes. Praying for Ruth.
Oh, speaking of next show, what we decided to do, LT decided, hey, you know what? Why don't we do a little round robin? So we're going to move the studio from Ronnie's place to my place to John's.
Yeah,
to
that's
Ronnie's.
right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you'll see a different setting.
Yep.
Next time, not next episode, but the following one.
It's going to be at his place.
So look forward to that.
Yeah. So we can look at what he has on his walls and, whatever he didn't put away. And 'cause my freaking bar is a mess, but this is my bar, so who cares? All right. Just remember, guys, at Surviving the Badge, we still got your 6. Salute.